Christians in Iraq are living in fear as ISIS takes over territory with the threat of slaughter. The radical jihadist group took over Mosul last month. Saturday, militants bombed and burned Christian property and several churches in Mosul, including this 1,800-year-old church.
In a society that thrives on one-liners and snarky partisan political barbs, there is one that is, to many, the most offensive at all: the war on women. From both sides, it is seen as insulting, destructive, and more often than not, three words that prove the person or persons using it here in America have no idea what it really means. Welcome into MidPoint, editor-in-chief at thelevant.com, established as a place for journalists and analysts with an interest in covering and discussing the Middle East. Catherine Shakdam joins us today. Catherine, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Catherine, we always hear that phrase here in America, the war on women. It is used in a partisan sense, Democrats versus Republicans. It is used to make a political point. When we look at what ISIS is doing at this moment, female members terrorizing women who do not follow the caliphate's rules, is it not fair to say that there is simply nothing more heinous and more despicable than what is being done in subjugating these women?
I completely agree with you. As a woman myself, I can completely relate to to what is happening in Syria and in Iraq. You have to understand that the logic, the narrative that they follow is absolutely is they want to brainwash young women and young men to believe into radical Islam, into their understanding of radical Islam, which has nothing to do with what Islam actually stands for. And what they're doing is, they're trying to wreak havoc into society. They're trying to rearrange and reorganize, social order and religious order in the Middle East. And it's actually quite dangerous that they managed to tap into a brand new demographic. They're trying to brainwash, young women. You have seen how in Europe, there is this new jihadi girl power, if you like, that is slowly emerging. That is really, really dangerous because they tap it into this narrative whereby women think that they're being empowered by those radicals, that they have a purpose, that they have a greater calling, to serve Islam, and they are completely, they themselves wish to, they are putting their own, shackles. They are wearing them and they are loving them, and it's actually really, it's angering me because I don't understand why women would agree to basically, have other people being, becoming enslaved. They're enabling this system. They are trying to enslave other women. In Syria, what's happening in Raqqa city, which has become the Islamic capital of Syria for the Islamic State, they have set up a brigade, which is called al-Khansaa Brigade, and they're having women spy on other women and, attack other women, arrest other women, if they do not wear the veil properly, if they do not, walk in the street with a male chaperone, if they do not abide by, whatever rules the Islamic Caliphate decided to set in place. And this has nothing to do, and I really think it's important to stress it out, that it has nothing to do with Islam. Islam does not require women to become slaves.
Okay, let me stop you there for a moment because I want to get on the religion thing here and I want to bring a quote into this. This is Abu Ahmad, an ISIS official, and we should point out to people that this is ISIS-run in many ways. The name of the brigade is the al-Khansaa Brigade, an all-female unit operating in the cities in Iraq. Here is Abu Ahmad. We have established the brigade to raise awareness of our religion among women and to punish women who do not abide by the law. There are only women in this brigade, and we have given them their own facilities to prevent the mixture of men and women. Here's the big thing, Catherine. There are people here who are saying this is religion. They continue to point to the Muslim faith as the reason why this is being done. My question to you, are they using it simply as an excuse? Are we looking at men here who quite frankly enjoy being sadistic and subjugating women? Men who perhaps are not clear in their own sexuality here, who see women as some sort of a threat? What's the reality?
Well, I think the main thing is like they're using religion and they're taking things that women have to abide by in Islam, and they're taking it completely out of context, and they're trying to radicalize society and use basically Islam against women and to enslave them. And I think I agree with you when you say that I think they feel threatened by women, and they do not want women because they understand that women are basically the pillar of society. They will raise the next generation. So if they manage to enslave them, they will be able to create a very malleable society. People will be more inclined to to follow whatever rules will be set in place by them. What they want to do is exactly what the Taliban has done in Afghanistan. They're trying to completely, turn women into slaves and into objects and tools to be disposed of and sold off for, whatever they want
Is
to
that
do.
simply it here, Catherine? Are we looking at a society where the men who are involved in this simply look at women as nothing more than chattel or cattle or animals that they can basically use and abuse at their own will?
Yes, when you see that, some Salafi cleric actually call for sexual jihad, calling young women to, willingly sell their body for jihadists. I mean, it is quite sick, to actually, be able to carry a narrative like this and, and target as being religious. And you have to understand that, in Islam, and I think that's something that people don't understand. Islamic radicals are using Islam, but they are distorting Islam. Islam does not require women to make this kind of sacrifice. There is no such thing as sexual jihad. It does not exist. Now, there is something that I think people need to understand when it comes to the veil, because I think it's
Very
it's something
quickly,
that is,
please.
yes, very quickly. If you look, when people go for Hajj, which is the pilgrimage that Muslims have to do at least once in their life, you are not required, and you're actually forbidden to wear a face veil for women. It is unlawful, under Islam. So why would cleric call on women and oblige women to wear a face veil and say that it is, to abide by, what the Quran is, ordering women to do? It is completely false. It is something that it is a distortion of Islam. And I think those people are quite sick. And they are trying to sell, their narrative as being Islamic, when indeed it is not. As a Muslim and as a woman, I completely reject what they're saying. And I do not recognize myself in the kind of preaching, they're doing. It is completely absurd. And, Islam actually promotes, women's rights. I'm not saying that people are abiding by it or applying it in any way, shape, or form. I think there's a lot of lagging and lacking when it comes to women's rights in the Middle East. But I think it's completely wrong to say that Islam advocates women enslavement.
Let me do this. I only have 15 seconds left. 15 seconds. How do you react when you hear the words "war on women" used here in America, and you know what's happening in your country and in other countries?
Well, I think it makes me angry because when I see how women are treated in the Middle East, I think we need to kind of reevaluate. But I think we need people need to understand that the focus now should be on the Middle East. People need to be fighting this terror and try to not buy into this narrative. And I think more needs to be done when it comes to women. Women's rights are an issue that is global and universal, I would say. But I think in a way, I think women in America should understand what women are going through in the Middle East, because we have the same.
We need to leave it there, unfortunately. We are all out of time. Catherine, you've done an excellent job pointing it out. Thank you very much for your time. We will speak again, and we will continue right here on MidPoint, where we question everything.